Chocobo GP, the sequel to Chocobo Racing back on PS1. It is a game I have been looking forward to ever since the announcement, and have been wanting ever since the cancellation of Chocobo Racing 3D on the 3DS back in 2013. Releasing only on the Switch last week, a bold move given that Mario Kart 8 is still a thing, the game has so far had some interesting aspects of it. After playing for about 20 hours so far, how do I think it holds up a week after release? In this video, I will discuss my thoughts on the story, gameplay, and content that this game provides. Warning, this review may contain spoilers. The story of Chocobo GP is what you would expect. Choose a difficulty and play along with the lighthearted story of the game.
Come on, come on! The greatest of races is soon to take place, Koopa!
Playing through the story is where the majority of the content is locked behind, as it allows you to unlock about half of the cast, with the other half being put into the shop to buy through the ticket currency. As for the story, it is overall lighthearted story that introduces all the characters and slowly eases you in all the types of magic sight similar to the original Chocobo Racing game, while having some Final Fantasy references.
Swear, I'm telling the truth.
Edgar told me about you. Is it true? You're a thief?
Although the story was enjoyable, it didn't really feel like it was telling a story, but more of just character introductions with humor. I was quite surprised though to hear everything was voiced, and I really appreciated that effort. Although the option of dual audio would have been nice, given the fact that whether English or Japanese voices were used were based on the system language rather than the region of the game, meaning that both Japanese and English audio are available as part of the game. Completing story mode does unlock an extra difficulty mode to the story, in which completing helps you obtain more tickets as well as an additional character. By completing story mode plus the extra mode, and getting a decent amount of the achievements for tickets, this should give you enough tickets to buy the characters from the shop, although not their additional carts. In terms of overall gameplay, Chocobo GP follows the typical kart racing formula, where you race against other players aiming for first. You have your common attributes such as starting boosts, drift boosts, jumps, and items while racing on the track. Items, in this case magic sight eggs, are used to boost your character or disrupt the others. These magics are fire, thunder, blizzard, arrow, water, wake, doom, M-barrier, haste, swap, Bahamut, and the rare Ultima. You can store a total of 3 levels of magic. By collecting duplicates of the spell, the effectiveness of the spell is increased, combining into a single but more powerful cast. You can also just keep collecting magic sight eggs with a full magic sight stock and hope you get the powerful Ultima. However, it is somewhat random what you can get from each magic sight, with the gold providing a level 2 spell and silver seeming to have a higher chance to increase the spell level of your current spells. It is also completely random whether you can even get Ultima. I had races where I didn't use a single magic sight and kept collecting all I could, and still never got Ultima. And there were one time where I got it by the 6th or 7th collected magic sight. Current placement does not seem to affect what you can get, unlike other kart games like Mario Kart. This means that you can get powerful spells even in 1st or 2nd place. This leads to some imbalance where the character in the lead could just keep their massive lead, as characters behind could end up getting no items to take them down, but can also lead to some clutch first place wins as well.
Yes! 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 I got lucky, but I got it. Oh my god, my first place GP.
Oddly enough, this makes the races feel a bit more RNG sometimes. Returning from Chocobo Racing are character abilities. Unlike Chocobo Racing though, abilities are character specific, making each character feel unique from each other. Abilities are extremely powerful in this game, as it seems most, if not all, abilities give you some sort of form of invincibility during the cast, resulting in many players actually saving their abilities to dodge other attacks, especially saving it to the end of the final lap. This adds some strategy in selecting characters and when to use your abilities. although you may only get 1 or 2 usages per track depending on the difficulty and track selected, making the timing of usage even more important. With these two aspects combined, it does feel reminiscent of the original Chocobo Racing, while also feeling like its own game and being more balanced in comparison. One thing, however, that did annoy me was all of the warning sounds when an ability was used or a magic attack was approaching me. Since the majority of the characters get their abilities around the same time frame, you start hearing the warning sounds constantly in the middle of a race, with some races having the warning beep constantly for a good 10 seconds. Chocobo GP boasts 24 characters, plus 2 additional characters upon release, one locked behind paywalls, we will get into that later, and another locked behind the guild shop, with each character having 3 different carts, standard, grip, and speed models. Chocobo GP roster is decently sized, with a majority of the characters being easily unlockable by playing through story mode on both normal and extra difficulties. As for race tracks, there are 9 unique tracks with different variations for some of them, making a total of 21 racetracks, 42 if you include the mirror mode variations. Although this sounds like a lot, I honestly felt that many of the tracks felt too short or too boring in comparison to the original Chocobo Racing, while I felt the opposite about the characters, where I felt the character roster is great and more balanced in comparison to the original. In terms of music, I absolutely loved the music of the game. The new variations of the old Final Fantasy songs felt refreshing to hear, while the new tracks were also great to listen to, making the overall racing experience more enjoyable. I especially love the menu theme, though I seem to be one of the minority on this. I guess people just don't like hearing about Carmilla's paw.
Chocobo, Camilla, and Camilla's paw.
For play modes, there are Story, Time Attack, Series Races, Custom Race, Multiplayer, and Chocobo GP, the main feature of the game. As mentioned before, Story is the mode to play to unlock the characters while enjoying a lighthearted story. Time Attack is where you can race against ghosts and try for the best time for each track, while also being another way to get tickets if you beat the ghosts. Series Races are just like the different cups in Mario Kart, having a total of 12 series for each difficulty, each with 4 tracks. However, this also leads to multiple tracks being reused, especially when Mirror Mode is a separate series in itself. This ended up feeling really repetitive fast, but does seem to earn you tickets upon first completion. Custom Race is pretty self-explanatory, where you just race on tracks with your given settings. This is also where you would play with a friend if you wanted to do a split screen. This differs from multiplayer option though, which assumes each player has their own Switch and copy of the game. And last but not least, we have the Chocobo GP mode. This is the main mode of the game, where you play in a 64 racer online Grand Prix, where the top 4 move on per race until the final 8, where the top 3 get their podium victory. This is also the mode where we have the dreaded prize pass, along with the 2 locked limited time characters currently being Cloud and Squall. Because this mode requires Nintendo Switch Online, this means anyone who wants Cloud and Squall must have Nintendo Switch Online as well. So not only do you have to buy the pass, have Nintendo Switch Online, and grind through the online matches, you have to do it within a specific time frame to even get both characters, in which case is about 2 to 3 months. Or else you may never be able to get them at all. Starting with Squall, he is purchasable through the guild shop, in which gil is slowly accumulated through weeklies, dailies, and the prize pass, meaning you have to grind online matches to be able to unlock him. Although a long grind, this technically does not require any real money, but you may not be able to get all his vehicles without buying the prize pass by the end of the season. Due to it being impossible to get enough gil by the end of the season to buy everything in the guild shop, even with the prize pass, I would assume that this means there will be some type of rotation in items similar to the Crash Team Racing's pit stop, but that's just me being optimistic. However, going back to the prize pass, in order to get Cloud, you must buy the prize pass. Although they give us enough currency to buy the pass for the first time for the release of the game, In the long run, we would need to buy the pass with real money in order to keep getting future characters and content. Although, this may change in the future as Square seems to be planning to add Mithril to the next season's prize pass, possibly leading to some kind of refundable prize pass overall. To unlock Cloud from the prize pass, you have to grind to level 60 and then get to level 100 to unlock all of his vehicles. Everything past 100 is purely cosmetic, it seems, them being different colors for Cloud's vehicles as well as additional gil. Originally requiring 30 to 40 hours of online gameplay just to unlock Cloud, with an additional 30 to 40 hours just to get to level 100, this made the game extremely grindy for the prize pass, to the point where you would probably end up being forced to buy him by purchasing levels if you wanted. This was later patched though, so that the grind to 60 would be about 10 hours and the grind to 100 being 20 hours total, with EXP required for each level capping at 1600. However, according to the boards I have read, the EXP starts increasing again after level 100, leading back to the long grind where it starts to increase by 50 EXP per level with a max cap of 6000, making the later levels extremely grindy like how it was originally. Stickers can be used to help gain points faster, however these are limited in supply and some are even tied to dailies, leading to the problem where I have to decide to save the stickers and just grind more or just use them just to try to level up faster. Luckily, since I bought the premium pass, I really don't have this issue at the moment, but I can see it being an issue down the line. Regardless, the prize pass is extremely grindy, but by level 100 you should be able to buy Squall and his vehicles by the end of the season by doing dailies, the weeklies, and getting the prize pass, while also getting all Cloud's vehicles, leaving the rest to be purely cosmetic. However, the extra gil, especially from the last sections of the pass, would help with the next season's purchases in the guild shop. Another issue with Chocobo GP is that due to it being the main mode for both the paid and Lite version, this saturates the Chocobo GP with many of the Lite only characters being Chocobo, Sherma, and Ben. Although this is a great way for Lite players to see if they like the game, this saturation does cause repetitive races as we wouldn't get to see many of the other characters used, such as Gilgamesh, whoever he is.
Who are you?
Who are you?
Who are you?
Who are you? Who are you?
Overall, although I do enjoy the races, the prize pass grind is absolutely ridiculous, whereas of the making of this video, the estimated time to hit level 100 is around 20 hours, while to hit level 200 is a total of 50 to 60 hours of online matches, possibly even more. Speaking of the Lite version of the game is essentially a deluxe free demo that allows players to try out the prologue of the story and play online via the Chocobo GP mode. This version also allows you to play local multiplayer, so if a friend hosts a lobby locally, you can join and play races with them. This is very reminiscent of the good old days of Mario Kart DS, where DS download play let you play Mario Kart with friends but with limitations for people who didn't own the game, such as being forced to play as Shy Guy, and forced to play on a limited amount of tracks. For this game's Lite version, players are limited on tracks and characters. However, if the host has the full game, then all the tracks are available to play. Same applies when playing online in Chocobo GP mode. Lite versions can race on all the tracks with their limited character selection. When not looking at the major issue with the whole online grind and price pass microtransactions, Chocobo GP offers a fun racing experience with a decent amount of content you would expect from a racing game, though some of it being overly repetitive. With a variety of characters to play and a decent amount of tracks with mirror mode, you can find yourself playing for hours trying out different characters on different tracks to see what works for you. However, when incorporating the online grind and prize pass, this makes me concerned about the overall future of the game. The online itself seems pretty stable, minus the first day. I only had a handful of issues from my hours of online play, where I had a few matches where I got disconnected, and one weird match where I totally lagged out, where I ended up being in last place. Overall, I would give the game a 3 out of 5. Thank you for watching.